Hey guys, for today's video we're going to be installing this multi-channel dashcam in my Hyundai Veloster 2016. This dashcam comes from iiwey and they sent this to me so I can do an installation video and review for you. This thing have a 4-channel camera and they also sent me the hardware kit. So I'm going to show you how to wire this into your car. This thing comes with all the fuse tabs that you'll need plus the extra pieces that you need to get your dashcam going. Okay, so I already picked the fuse tabs that I'll need for my car. So this is the same fuse that my car uses, so this is the one that we're gonna be using. If you want to see a full review on this camera, you can check my other video, but today we're gonna be focusing on the installation. Okay, so first thing we want to do is we want to figure out where we want to install the camera. I think I want to hide the camera right around here, and I wanted to use this because this part right here is actually cooler than this glass right here. So if you have a sticker like this and you can install it in the dotted area right here, that's actually the best place to do it. But if you have the suction type, you don't want to use this because the suction is just gonna come off, so you want to use it on a smooth surface. Okay, so for me, since I have this option, I'm gonna be putting it right here, and that should allow me to record for both sides right there. So I'm just gonna go ahead and clean this area. And I just want to make sure it's completely dry. Okay, then I'm just gonna remove this thing so that I can install it here properly. Okay, let me go ahead and do that. We'll see. Yeah. So I'm just gonna go ahead and push this thing in, and ideally you want to leave this thing here for at least 24 hours before you actually put the camera. But the camera is actually pretty light, so I don't think that's gonna make a difference. But for now, I'm just gonna leave it like this. Okay, our next step will be to run the wire here all the way down to where your fuse box is. And the company actually gave this to you so that you can tuck the wire using this thing, but I'm not gonna do it that way. What I'll do is I'm gonna remove this so that I can have full access to the side. And to do that, you just want to grab this and pull it down. Okay, now that I pulled this rubber out, you can now have access to all this. And also you can see where your airbag is, so you can avoid that. So you always want to avoid that. Using the tool that they gave you, you're going to be running here, which will going to restrict the airbag from deploying properly. So by pulling this, you can actually see where your airbag is. You want to avoid your airbag. If you can't, you want to go above it. Okay, so since I have this thing open now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to run this from where my fuse box is and out here, and I'm gonna follow this thing up towards the camera right there. So once you have this thing open, you just want to look for an opening here. I think I found it right here. And okay, so I'm just gonna pull this thing as much as I can. So right here, I'm just gonna route it away from the airbag so I can actually pull this thing out so I have more space. And now I can avoid the airbag. So I can just grab this thing here, and then I'm gonna guide it to where I want it to be, which is around here. Now that I have that, I can just push this thing back in. Let me just pull this thing here for now. And that's it for running your wires. Okay, so now I'm just gonna go ahead and put this thing back. That's it. Okay, so now let me just show you how to use this fuse tabs and how to wire this properly. So the company gave you multiple fuse tabs, and what you want to do is just want to pick the one that uses the same fuse as your car. And if you look here, this is the connection. You want to install the fuse to the top of the fuse tab. Okay, so this is going to be the fuse that the company included in your hardwire kit. So this is going to be on the top, and then the one that you're going to remove from your car is the one that you'll be putting under this fuse right here. Okay, so let me show you the wiring from your hardwire kit. So if you look here, you have 3 wires. The black wire that have this connector right here is going to go to your grounds. The yellow wire, according to the manual, will go to the constant on. So basically this thing is going to go to the fuse connection where it will continue to work even if you don't have your engine running. This one will go to your accessories. You want to put this to a fuse where it requires the engine running before it works. Okay, so if you look at the back of your fuse box, you're going to see there are a lot of connections here. So you want to avoid anything that will use a lot of power or anything that you want to always work when you need them. So you want to avoid your airbag, you want to avoid your AC, maybe your starter, you want to avoid that as well. So what you want to do is look for any lamp. You know, if you have brake lamp, interior lamp, those are the ones that you want to tap into. Okay, so interior light, you know that interior light is always going to work even when your engine is not running. Okay, so that I can use that for the yellow wire. This is a B up lamp. I'm not really sure what that is, but I think this is a backup lamp or when you are reversing. So most likely this thing is gonna need the engine running before you can back up, right? So I would say I can install the red wire into the backup lamp. Okay, but I'm gonna show you a way to check this, and I'm gonna be using a tool like this one right here. So this is gonna tell me if the fuse works when the engine is off or if that fuse will need the engine on. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna connect this to the ground screw right here, because this is where I'm going to install the ground wire anyway. So let me go ahead and show you how this works. So I'm gonna touch this interior lamp right here, and you can see the thing works even if my engine is off. Okay, so we know that the interior lamp is constant on, and then also we said the backup lamp. So the backup lamp right now is not working, so I can say that this thing will need engine to be on in order for it to work. Let me go ahead and start the engine and we'll test this fuse again. Okay, so now I stopped the engine. This thing is not working anymore. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna remove this, and I'm gonna install it into this fuse right here. And we identified that the red wire is going to the one where it will only work when the engine is on. So I'm gonna go ahead and plug this thing here, and then I'm just gonna use this cover to protect the wiring. Okay, and then I'm gonna grab this interior light, and again I'm gonna put this into the bottom of this fuse tabs. Okay, and I'm gonna connect this to the yellow wire because this thing is the one that require constant on. Okay, okay, so our next step will be to install the rear camera, and they give you a lot of cable right here. This cable should be long enough, and actually you should have a lot of extra if you follow their direction if you have a sedan. But if you have an SUV or a minivan, this thing might be a little short. So this is the reason I learned how to do this overhead, and that's how I'm gonna do it this time, because I think it's a lot easier to do that, and also it's a lot cleaner install. So if you look here, your camera will have this connection right here, and you can just pull this, put the camera aside for now, and now you just have the cable. So this part right here is gonna go to the back of your car, This one is gonna go to where your camera is. A lot of dashcam company would like you to use this tool so that you can run your cable from here, going down there. Basically, you want to follow the trim of your car until you get to the back of your car. So today I'm going to show you a faster way to do it. You're going to remove some screws right here so you can access all the space that you need to go to the back of your car. Okay, so if you have this, all you need to do is you look for any screws that is inside here. So I just opened my eyeglasses holder. I saw 2 screws right here. So I'm just going to remove that. So I just want to let you know, don't be afraid to remove screws from your car. When you're working in cars, it's either they have screws or they have a snap-on, okay? So it's very easy to remove them, very easy to put them back. The only time that you really need to worry about is if you need to take the engine and the transmission apart. I used to be afraid of doing this, but after watching my friend install a DVD player, I was like, oh, that was easy. So right here, I removed the screw, and now I was able to pull this thing out. Okay, let's see, this one right here just goes inside, and then this is held by 2 screws. Okay, so now I have all the space I need here to run a fish wire. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and go to the back of the car and then run a wire coming out to this side. Okay, so I'm now at the back of the car and I'm just gonna use this fish tape. If you don't have a fish tape, you can just use any wire that you can find in your house. If you have wire hangers, you can use that too. You just want to pull this thing down a little, okay, and then put your fish tape and guide it until it reaches the front of your car. Okay, we'll see. And you can see right now it's coming out in the front. So let's go ahead and go back to the front. Okay, so right here I'm just gonna have to attach the end of my rear camera cable, and I'm just gonna have to protect it with an electrical tape. Okay, so I'm just gonna go ahead and grab enough tape that I need to use, and I'm just gonna go ahead and put this here. Make sure that you cover the end of your cable, okay, so you don't accidentally damage the connectors. And then I'm just gonna go ahead and push this thing and pull it to the back of the car. And you just want to pull this thing, and now I have the other end of the cable. So we're good on this side. Now right here you can just run your wire like this if you just want to install the rear camera here. But for me, I cannot just do that because this thing is actually facing the sky. For me, I need to install the rear camera on this side right here. So I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna have to go back here, right here, and I'm gonna use this thing to hide the cables, and I'm gonna run it right here. Okay, so here you can easily pull this thing out and also pull this thing out here. Okay, then I'm gonna just get the cable, put it right there. So this thing usually gives me problem, but looks like this one doesn't have a lot of cables in it, so I should be able to just push this thing over there. So let's go ahead and try to do that. But first, again, I need to protect the end of this cable, so I'm just gonna go ahead and put an electrical tape here just to protect it. And all I need to do is just pull this thing as much as I can, and then I'm just gonna wanna grab it from here, and I would like to get an idea how much I need to go to my final place. Okay, so I have actually more than enough right now, so I'm gonna see if I can just push this thing here. Okay, so it looks like I cannot just push it. It'll be nice if you have like a small wire to do it, but I don't have a small wire, so I'm just gonna use this right here. So I'm just gonna use my fish tape again. I'm just gonna go ahead and push it right here, and I hope you can see this. Okay. Okay, so I just have the fish tape here coming out of here, and just gonna have to tape this here again. And again, you want to tape from the top to protect it from being damaged. And this thing, if it gives you a hard time pulling it out, all you will need to do is just spray this with silicone grease and you should be able to pull the cable back out easily. But right now I'm not doing that because it looks like the thing is not really crowded, so I should be able to pull this without any problem. Okay, so I'm almost there. I can feel it right here. Okay, so I can see it here now. Okay, so now I can pull this cable, and then I can just put this thing back. Okay, so you don't want to put this thing back yet because we're gonna have to run it through here. So if you have a different car, don't worry, the procedure should be the same. So this thing should be a snap-on, so I should be able to just pull this thing out. Okay, let me go this one first maybe. There you go. Right here, this thing needs to go back to this spot right here. So I just want to show you this. This thing should be like this. So you just want to pull this thing with your pliers and then put this thing back here. Okay, so right here I can just pull this thing out and I should be able to do it around. Okay, so now I can just push this thing from this hole here and pull it out from here. Okay, so let me go ahead and do that. I should be able to grab it with my finger. There you go. And now I can actually close this. Okay, so let me go ahead and put this thing back now since I can run this thing right here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull this first. I can put that thing right here. Okay, so at this point I should be able to return this now. Okay, so I'm just gonna go ahead and snap it, and I think this thing goes right here. And then this one here, I'm just gonna hide the wire inside here, and what I'll do is I'm just gonna go ahead and run it all the way here and hide it on this side. And now I can put this thing back. So I'm just gonna go ahead and install this thing now, and I'm just gonna use my electrical tape to connect this two and make sure that this two doesn't separate when I pull the cable later. Okay, so I'm just gonna go ahead and hide the whole thing right here. So I'm just gonna go ahead and leave it like this, and then I'll just pull it when I need them. Okay, and here I just run a fish tape from the front going out here so I can grab the wire. Okay, so let me go ahead and do that. Okay, so I was able to pull it. So basically I just have to pull this thing down and guide the wires so I don't damage this, because this thing has the L shape. I have to pull it extra careful. Okay, and now I'm just gonna have to hide the wire inside this. You can organize it if you want, but you don't really need to. So I'm just gonna go ahead and push it like this. This is also gonna give me some slack if I need it later. And then just gonna go ahead and put this thing back and put the screw back in. Okay, and now I should be able to plug this into the camera. So make sure you clean the connector if you put an electrical tape on it. So now I'll be able to install the rear camera here and my front camera right here, and I'm going to put it right here. Okay, so now all I need to do now is position the rear camera properly and I should be good. So that is the camera from the back, and like what we did is we ran it from there and all the way here, and we put the wire out from there. So the reason I did not put it right here is because I want this area right here to be able to be cleaned by the wiper. So I put it down a little so that when this window gets dirty, all I need to do is turn on the wiper and this thing is gonna get cleaned up. And you can see the camera is right over there. So let me show you how it looks like inside. So from the driver's side, that's the camera right there. And in the back, it's right there. If you found this video helpful, please make sure to click the like and the subscribe button. And if you're interested in getting this dashboard, I put a link in the description and in the comment section. And from time to time, the company will provide some discount codes. So if I get those codes, I will make sure to update the description for you. And thank you for watching.